Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and today we're reviewing Kirby Fighters 2. This review was originally written by the beautiful Scullion and was adapted to video by me. You don't need to tell us this, but Nintendo makes some strange decisions sometimes. The latest example of this is Kirby Fighters 2, a digital-only fighting game that was stealth dropped on the eShop without any warning, promoted with a couple of tweets, and then generally abandoned, at least at this time of recording. With behavior like this, you'd expect Kirby Fighters 2 to be an absolute stinker that Nintendo is hoping that nobody notices so it can bury it and move on to promoting the next big release, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. The reality though is very different, because this is actually a pretty fun game and one that's well worth the £17.99 asking price. The quickest way to describe Kirby Fighters 2 is that it's what you'd get if Super Smash Bros. Only consisted of Kirby fighters and stages. Which, side note from me, Smash needs a lot more of. All the stages in Ultimate are from the Sakurai era of Kirby. Where's all the other Kirby love, Sakurai? In fact, if you told us this was originally planned to be a $20 Kirby-themed expansion pass for Smash, we'd believe you entirely. There's a total of 22 playable fighters, and while that may initially sound like an impressive roster, that only amounts to 6 different characters. 17 of them are different Kirby abilities. Having 17 different Kirbys to choose from may immediately make you think that Kirby Fighters 2 has all the depth of a teaspoon of water, but that isn't actually the case. Each of the different abilities has its own unique moveset, and this can result in some wildly different fighting styles. Yo-Yo Kirby, for example, is armed with a variety of yo-yo tricks and flicks designed to keep enemies at bay, while the Sword Kirby, who still thankfully has Link's hat, requires you to get close to an opponent before you pull off one of its 12 different slash types. Then there's Wrestler Kirby, marking the debut appearance of the Wrestler ability in a Kirby game. This focuses a bit more on grabs and has a few cool combos you can pull off. The movesets are all diverse enough that it's going to take you some time to master them all, let alone complete story mode with each of them. More on that in a bit. The fighter list may be visually similar throughout, but the same cannot be said for the stages. There are 19 in total, and there's a nice variety on offer here, from fairly standard battlefields to more elaborate levels with stage hazards such as big springy hands coming out of the walls, a giant robot swinging its massive fists at you, or, our personal favourite, a train blasting across the screen and running the fighters over in a very similar style to the Mario Kart stage in Smash Bros. And the reason we keep mentioning Smash is because this isn't merely similar to Smash, it's practically a legitimate spin-off. Co-developers HAL Laboratory and Vanpool have clearly been given access to some form of the Smash Bros. Engine and built this game around it, because everything, from big things like the feel of the combat and the battle mode with its 4-player support, to smaller things like the menu screen and the scoring at the end of a fight, this feels like a modded version of Smash, albeit an exceptionally professional one, of course. And that's not to say it doesn't have its own identity, mind you, and the most obvious example of this is Story Mode, which is the main meat of the game and can potentially keep you occupied for a long time, depending on how much of a completionist you are. The general idea is you pick 2 fighters. The second can either be an AI buddy character, or a second human player, if you'd rather play co-op. You then fight your way up a tower in an attempt to reach the top, and fight the tag team Meta Knight and King Dedede. There are 5 different chapters in Story Mode, and each has you starting from the bottom and climbing up to a certain height. 5, 10, 20, 30, and 50 floors. Each of these floors consists of a single battle in one of 3 forms: a 2-on-1 fight, a 2-on-2 fight, or a boss battle. Occasionally, you'll get variations. The hazards on the stage may move at twice the speed, or the game may only spawn a certain type of weapon, and naturally, the aim is to defeat your opponent and reach the next floor. What makes this mode interesting is it's not just a case of fight someone, beat them, rinse and repeat without rhyme or reason. There's actually a heavy dose of character progression in there too that requires a combination of strategy and luck. After each fight, you recover a little bit of health and you're then presented with the screen giving you a choice between 3 randomly chosen items. Any of these will help improve your fighter and give you a better fighting chance of making it to the top, but choosing the best ones? That's on you. Some are permanent buffs that last for the rest of the campaign. These could increase your attack power, improve your buddy's skill level, make your charge attacks faster, increase the amount of health you get from food, that sort of thing. Others only work in specific situations. There's a medal that makes your attack stronger in boss fights, for example. There's also standard one-off food items, so if you really took a beating in the last round, you may want to take one and regain your health and forfeit a more long-term stat boost in order to stay alive. It's a simple enough concept then. Have a fight, recover some health, pick a power-up, have another fight, and so on and so on. And yeah, it's really compelling. Especially once you reach the final 50-floor tower, which can take up to an hour to beat and require a great deal of skill, a slice of luck, and some smart decision making to ensure you gather the right stat boost early on to make things easier when you get higher up the tower and enemies get harder. Other chapters let you retry as much as you like if you lose a stage, but the final one? No! For 50 floors, you get 3 lives, so as you approach the 50th floor, the level of tension is very real. It's genuinely exciting stuff. It's just as well really, because there isn't really much beyond this mode. There's an unlockable, single-handed mode, where you only choose one character instead of a pair and take on a short series of fights. There's really not much to it. Online multiplayer is also available, and while we didn't have too many issues once we were in a fight, getting in them is another story. It can take a while to find players, and a lot of the time you just get error messages. Other than that, there's a standard Smash-style versus mode where you have one-off fights with up to 4 players, and that is about it. To be honest though, that's probably enough for the price, especially if you're more of a single-player gamer. You get medals for every single character if you beat all 5 story modes with them, meaning if you're the type who insists on beating games 100%, it's gonna take you a hell of a long time to beat the 50-floor tower with all 22 fighters and get all their medals. An experience-style fighter point system gives you enough reason to keep on going. You'll level up over time by just participating in fights, which gives you new characters, new stages, new music, and even rare hats for certain characters to wear. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's compelling nonetheless. Kirby Fighters 2 won't appeal to everyone, and there's no doubt whatsoever that fans of this sort of genre should get Smash Bros. Ultimate instead if they don't already. If you've thoroughly rinsed Smash though, and are a Kirby fan looking for another single-player adventure or co-op challenge, or you just want a fun, mindless local multiplayer battle game, this is a brilliant way to pass the time, especially given its low price. If only Nintendo would actually tell people. Given that it arrived with practically zero fanfare, Kirby Fighters 2 is a surprisingly brilliant Smash Bros. Style spin-off that simplifies its Big Brother's control system, but still offers a healthy amount of depth with its 22-character roster. Its story mode in particular is a clever and compelling way to make each battle feel important. And that mode alone lasts long enough to make this a worthwhile purchase for both solo and co-op gamers. We here at Nintendo Life give Kirby Fighters 2 an 8 out of 10. If you would like to read our full written review, you can find that alongside a bunch of other Kirby content on NintendoLife.com. Until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.